SURG-Water. Episode 1. Hello, my name is Antonio Jaén, and I work for a research project called SURG-Water. Part of my job is to produce communication materials that help people understand what our project is about, but also to understand the jargon and concepts that might be used. For example, what does SODIS stand for? What is a microbiological pathogen? Are the Sustainable Development Goals important? Or have you heard about the use of low-cost technologies to clean harvested rainwater? How can this impact rural communities? To be honest, I can't answer any of these questions. I'm not an expert, but I know people who know people, and I am sure they can help us to bring more clarity. We just need to knock on a few doors and have a chat with some clever women and men who work on these topics. What do you think? Are you up for it? If so, welcome to Be Water. Let's start from the beginning. A bit of context. Every year, over 17 million women in impoverished countries give birth in healthcare facilities that lack essential water and hygiene standards. This dire situation not only endangers the lives of mothers, but also their infants. Think about it. Over 1 million deaths are linked to inadequate access to safe water during childbirth. Without water, the ability of healthcare workers to carry out proper infection prevention and control measures is significantly compromised. James Teuteua, director of Tekerani Rural Hospital in the south of Malawi, a facility with an average of 10 deliveries per day, explains their situation regarding water access.
We cannot talk about sanitation in the hospital without water. For us to run our daily activities normally, we need water. We should talk of general cleaning, that mopping of the floors and the cleaning of the windows and the walls. We need water. For us, we also need water for hand washing. That's infection prevention. We need water to clean and sterilize our equipment that we use in the hospitals.
So what do you do when healthcare facilities don't have running water? Professor Kevin McGuigan, director of the RCSI Solar Disinfection Research Group, connected me with one of his collaborators, Pilar Fernández-Ibáñez, professor of environmental engineering at the School of Engineering from Ulters University, who could shed some light on the matter. But even before our conversation started, I found myself struggling with the meaning behind Pilar's research. Why? Judge for yourself. Her research focuses on, I'm gonna quote very slowly so I can get it right, low-cost technologies for water purification, photochemical and advanced oxidation processes for the removal of microbiological pathogens and hazardous chemical contaminants from water, and decentralized technologies for drinking water in developing communities. What does all that even mean? I knew I had to ask Pilar to break it down for us. Could you please explain a little bit more, and for lay people, in what consists what you do?
Well, it looks very fancy and complicated, but it is not. I work on technologies that permit to potabilize water, to make it clean, to make it potable, to make it safe for humans, for different uses like drinking, preparing food and everything, using different technologies. Some of them are so simple and so low cost that even calling them technologies is too ambitious, but still they are classified as technologies. When the problem or the context of the water is really difficult because it's very dirty or contains very difficult to remove pathogens or chemicals, then we need to use more advanced technologies. And these are the ones that are photochemical processes or advanced oxidation processes. You need the conjunction of different things. You need a good reactor, you need a good catalyst, and you need chemical processes for this to happen. So depending on the complexity of the water problem and also the social context and the economical context of the place where the problem is found, low cost, we will use advanced oxidation technologies or decentralized technologies. That's very important. Many communities are isolated from the water network. They are not connected. They don't have tap on premises. They are not connected to the water distribution network. So you need something that doesn't depend on the network, and that's called decentralized technology. It has to be realistically designed and implemented in the place so it works and is reliable and provides the same type of water that you and me have in our houses.
But here's the question. Can we convert rainwater into clean water? And if so, how does the science behind it works?
The solar radiation comes from the atmosphere. The atmosphere filters some of the photons, and these photons reach us and they make our skin brown and also reach the surface water, the surface land, and everything. So a little part of these photons, the UV spectrum, that is only 5% of the total radiation we receive at the air surface. This radiation is responsible for producing different damages at microbiological level and produce inhibition of the reproduction of bacteria. Some of them are killed more rapidly, etc. So the levels of, let's say, inactivation of bacteria due to the incidence of these photons is not always so instantaneously lethal. It's about using these photons in water where you have a concentration or a high amount of these pathogenic bacteria. And if you really focus on just delivering the light onto the water and nothing else, so you avoid turbidity, you avoid that the water flows, you avoid that the color of the water absorbs the photons and all of that. If you really focus on concentrating that aspect, you will get disinfected water in a period of few hours. And what technology does is to reduce the treatment from few hours to, let's say, 1 hour, half an hour, 45 minutes, depending on the amount and the quality of that water.
Well, listening to the explanations, the technology sounds simple enough to implement, assisting communities in gaining access to clean water in many places. But I would say reality is far from that. Is SORI something people truly believe in? Can it be trusted? And if it is indeed trustworthy, what's preventing its widespread implementation?
I think at scientific level has been proven the high capacity to remove most of the problematic pathogens that we find in water. I wouldn't say it's a real limitation from the point of view of not able to kill pathogens, even if some of them are a little bit resistant. I think we can technologically overcome that. I think it's more a problem of having the enterprise initiative to join science, to create solutions. Let's say when we see these reactors, they have been created with communities, having some feedback from communities, but mainly they are created by engineers and scientists and also companies that are based on engineering thinking, right? So when you want to bring this to the public, you need to think about the availability of the materials, the cost, and the use and maintenance. So when you have industry really putting 100% of their soul and their funding on creating solutions, so all of these 3 boxes are ticked in a positive way, then we will have something competitive that really delivers. I mean, we are scientists, but we are not product developers. We are not market analyzers. And even we used to attempt something on that, but it's only like an aperitif. It should be more 100% product development. And then, and why it's not happening? Because the water market is not a big market, economical market.
So you think we should be asking to entrepreneurs about this question?
And the same as the climate change and the wastewater treatment is coming to the front line of the news and everywhere, the needs of having drinking water and treated wastewater was always there. It's just we don't see that until it's too late. So now that we are seeing that we are in really big problems because of water scarcity is when everybody goes, oh, we need solutions. The solutions have been sitting there in the scientific papers and in the minds of many researchers many years. But until we don't have like the governments pushing the initiatives, the industry say, oh, we need to do that because the government is enforcing this. When all of these, let's say, fabric of interests work together is when all of these ideas will be rescued and put in practice.
It is really interesting what Pilar mentions here. Science backs up the possibilities of having clean water accessible for everyone, but there is no market to implement it, neither the support of governments to push the initiatives. Mental note, I need to ask some entrepreneurs about this. Pilar has dedicated years of her career to learning, improving, and implementing technologies for water safety across the world. From South America to Africa to Asia, every continent presents unique challenges. But what does she envision for the future?
I wish it was a positive future because I have worked a lot on that and I love the idea. I think it's very easy, very simple, and has much more positives than negatives. Very powerful, can be used anywhere. I wish there was the technological step, this little, how you say, click that you make in the technology so it's accessible. I wish in this case the invention becomes like public and open access to everybody. Nobody makes rich. The richness of this would be everybody having water. What is much nicer than that? Everybody having water without having to kill themselves, without having to pay extortionate taxes to anybody, just having the water. Imagine that. I mean, imagine that. I go very, very emotional because I think that's the dream. I think it can happen really, but it needs these entrepreneurships and more support from the governments, and this support I'm talking about tiny money compared to the other initiatives against the climate change, initiatives to treat the wastewater. It's nothing.
Water accessible for everyone, that's the goal. Also for SURG-Water, a research project that aims to mitigate water shortages at rural healthcare facilities, especially for maternity care related purposes. This is the first time ever that this kind of technology is being tested in clinical settings. SURG-Water brings together researchers from RCSI University of Medicine and Health Sciences and Malawi University of Business and Applied Science. It is funded by the Science Foundation Ireland and currently competing in the Sustainable Development Goals Challenge. You can find more information about SURG-Water on our social media channels or by visiting surgwater.ie. We have learned about SORI's technology and how it works, but at the same time, we have discovered that there are still some questions around the sustainability of solar disinfection linked to the market. I'm curious about all this. What if in the next episode we talk to entrepreneurs and ask them for solutions? That might be interesting, don't you think? In 2 weeks, we will know more. Until then, be water.